Hello there, trumpet and clarinet players. This is Mrs. Tosh Morelli here to help you with pages 6 and 7 in your Standard of Excellence book. We've already played page 4 and a little bit of page 5 in your book, and you'll notice when you turn to page 6 that it looks identical to page 4. So we can skip that one for now and move on to page 7. At the top of the page in the yellow, the book is teaching us some new concepts. We're learning about half notes. They can be right side up or upside down. And we are learning about half rests. You'll notice that the half rest is a right side up hat, and the whole rest was an upside down hat. The other difference is that a whole rest takes up the whole measure, the whole box, the whole measure. But a half rest does not. More on that later. Here's song 8, A Breath of Fresh Air. We have our notes. E's, they're on the line. There's a whole rest, takes up the whole measure. D's, under the line like disgusting gum. Whole rest, takes up the whole measure. And C's. All of these notes are whole notes, 4 beats each. We have this new item here. Kind of looks like a comma or an apostrophe, and if we look up here we see that it's called a breath mark, and that's just a place to take a breath. This song is different because we now have 2 notes in a row before we breathe. So we're here. Take a minute to review your fingerings for E, D, and C. If you need to look over at page 6 to review your fingerings, you can do that. Okay, you ready to play? We're going to do this together on page 7, song 8, A Breath of Fresh Air. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and play. Rest, 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 rest. Rest, 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 rest. Did you remember to play all of your notes for 4 beats, 4 foot taps? Did you remember to take a breath at each breath mark in between the notes? I hope so. Let's look at song number 9. On song number 9, we now have 2 different notes side by side, hence the title. So first we have an E, and then we have a D. That's without having a rest. Just taking a short little breath. You're going to need to move your fingers quickly. After the rest, we have a D side by side with a C. Again, you're going to need to move your fingers quickly at the same time as you take a breath. After the rest, we have a D leading to an E. Here you have to move your fingers just as quickly in the reverse order as we did at the beginning. I highly recommend that you take your instrument in your hand and do your fingerings while you sing the song with your voice. This is called fake playing, and it helps you to get your fingers going to the right place before you have to worry about the blowing part. So here we go. We're going to fake play together. We're going to sing the letter name. We're going to hold the note for the right number of beats, which is 4. And I want you to move your fingers at the right time. So here we go. 1, 2, your E is ready, go. E, switch. D, rest, rest, looking ahead, go. D, switch. C, rest, looking ahead, switch your fingers, go. D, switch. E. If the switching is difficult for you right now, I would recommend that you pause the video and practice those switches again. Remember not to pick up your fingers all the way, but just switch those fingers that are necessary. Okay, here we go. We're going to play for real. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 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 rest. Rest, 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 rest. Song 10, 2 by 2, is the same idea as Song 9, except now the notes are in a different order. Let's name the notes together. First we have a D, then an E. After the rest we have the E again, and then a D. It's just opposite. After the rest we have an E leading to a C. So that's a bit of a different fingering switch than we've been used to. I'm not going to play this one with you, but I do want you to play this one on your own. This one's pretty tricky for a couple of reasons. Number one, you have to make sure that you don't accidentally read Song 9. You have to make sure you're on the wrong line, or on the correct line, not on the wrong line. And it gives you some more switching practice during that breath. During the breath each time. Instead, I'm going to skip down to number 11, half the price. We're going to talk about these. Remember that all notes are always circles. We've dealt with whole notes before, and we've dealt with quarter notes before on our rhythm chart. These are half notes. Half notes, each half note gets 2 counts. So these E's are going to be like this. E, 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 and there's your half rest. Do you notice that the half rest does not take up the whole measure like the whole rest does? It only takes up, that's right, half of the measure. That's why we call it a half rest, and that's why we call this note a half note, because it takes up half of the measure. Let's go ahead and we're going to fake play together. Get your fingers ready on your instrument. We're still dealing with E's and D's and C's all the way across. We don't have any new notes yet. In between these notes, do not take breaths. This is just the ta part. Ta, ta, ta. All you're doing is you are blowing your air through your instrument, and you are creating each individual note with your tongue with a very gentle ta. This is something that we've been practicing for a while. But what I want you to do when you play this song is make sure that you do all these notes in one breath, all of these notes in one breath, all of these notes in one breath, and these also each in one breath. All right, here we go. We're going to fake play. Get your fingers ready on E. 1, 2, ready, and go. E, E, E. Rest and move your fingers. D, D, D. Rest and move your fingers. C, C, C. Rest and move your fingers. D. Rest and move your fingers. C. Did you get that this C was 4 beats, whereas all of the other notes were 2 beats each? Remember to count when you get to here. All right, here we go. We're going to play for real. 1, 2, ready, and. Rest. 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 All right, that one was a little bit more with the tonguing, but still pretty easy with the fingerings. Now we're going to put everything together with the tonguing all these 3 notes in one breath, these 3 notes in one breath, and then you'll see we have a breath mark, these 3 notes in one breath, and these 3 notes in one breath. But now we have some pretty quick switching. I highly recommend that you pause the video and fake play number 12, Cardiff by the Sea, at least 4 to 5 times so that you can get your switches down pat. Remember, only move the fingers that need to be moved. You do not need to let go of your fingerings in between every single note. Let's go through and name our letter names first. Here we go. Just speaking. C, D, E. D, C, D, C, D, E, D, E, C. Here we go. We're going to fake play. Here's your C, 1, 2, with your fingers and your voice. C, D, E. Rest and look ahead. D, C, D, C, D, E. Rest and look ahead. D, E, C. This is a great one, like I said, to fake play a lot. Because you're going to go ta, 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 which means you need to move your fingers very, very quickly. You need to move your fingers at the same time as your tongue is doing the ta. So it's getting your brain into the idea of switching and tonguing at the same time. Plus counting, tapping your foot to keep the beat. We have a lot of stuff going on here. Here we go. We're going to play it together. 1, 2, ready, and play. I would recommend playing number 12, Cardiff by the Sea, a lot this week because it is a pretty tricky song. It's the trickiest song that we have yet, which is why there's a little medal next to it in our book, Standard of Excellence. This indicates that this is a little bit trickier song, as is number 14, the Go for Excellence. Now this song, number 13, Two for the Show, shows 2 different lines of music that are hooked together here at the front. Any of you who have ever seen piano music know that piano music is kind of similar in which there are 2 lines of music hooked together. The top line is supposed to be the piano player's right hand playing, and the bottom line is the piano player's left hand playing. But since we use both hands on our instruments, this is a duet. It means 2 people playing or singing playing their instruments or singing at the same time, but each person does something different. By yourself, you cannot play a duet. By myself, I cannot play a duet either. We always need somebody or another group to play along with us. Now, what we're going to do here in our practice session at home is we're going to practice each line separately as if it's its own song. And then when we come back together in class, we'll divide the class in half, and half of the class will play the A part, and at the same time, half the class will play the B part, and then we'll switch. This way, we'll get a duet. But here we go. First things first, we have to fake play. We're going to start with the A part. Let's name our notes. C, D, E, C, D, E, same order. E, D, E, D, E, E. Pretty easy. Now we go through our counts, right? 2 beats each, 4 beats. 2 beat, 2 beat, 2 beat. Half rest is 2 beats. 2 beat, 2 beat, 4 beat, just like we had in the beginning. 2 beat, 2 beat, 2 beat, half rest, just like we had over here. So we have a little bit of a pattern going on with our counting. That's what your C sounds like. So we're going to fake play it. I want you to get your fingers ready on your instrument and get your voice ready and get your counting ready and get your foot tapping. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, A. C, D, E, C, D, E, rest, rest, E, D, E, D, E, E, rest, rest. If these switches gave you some trouble, pause the video and fake play it a few more times to get your fingers going to the right place at the right time. All right, let's go ahead and we'll play all of 13A together. Remember, in your head, think the letter names. Count the beats. Make sure to breathe at the breath marks and also at the rest. Of course, breathing at the end. Here we go. 1, 2, 13A. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. On 13B, we have the same rhythms, so the same half note, whole note, half note, half note, half note, half rest, half note, whole note, half note, half note, half rest. The same rhythms, which means that we're all going to play our notes at the same time, but they're going to sound a little bit different. So here we have C, D, C, C, D, C again, E, D, C, that's down your scale, D, E, C. Watch out for this one right here. This is a good tricky one. Okay, go ahead and make sure that you fake play this one a bunch of times. Just these 3 notes over here, because they're out of order, out of our regular scale order that we do them in. Here we go, it's fake play. C, D, C, C, D, C, rest, rest, E, D, C, D, E.
All right, good afternoon. This is Mr. Johnson with the afternoon announcements. 79, 236, 165, 177, 170, 72, and the Boys and Girls Club. That order again, 79, 236, 165, 177, 170, 72, and the Boys and Girls Club. Have a great evening.
Let's fake play this together. 1, 2, ready, and C, D, C, C, D, C, rest, rest, E, D, C, D, E, C, rest, rest. Again, Remember that we're going to ta all of our notes, but we're going to do these 3 in one breath, these 3 in one breath, these 3 in one breath, and these 3 in one breath. Here we go. We're going to play the whole thing of 13B. 1, 2, ready, and play. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. Now, in order to make this a true duet at your house, you can rewind this video back to me playing 13A, and at the same time, you can play 13B. So you'll hear me doing this line, and you'll hear yourself doing the bottom line, and that would make it a duet. Conversely, you could also rewind this video just a little bit to me doing 13B, and at the same time, you play 13A. Duets are a lot of fun. Okay, number 14, go for excellence. I'm going to let you work this one up on your own. Remember to say your letter names first, go through your counts, fake play it with your fingers and singing, and then real play it. If you find any trouble spots, go ahead and do each of those little trouble spots all by itself, and then go back and do the whole thing again. Make sure you listen to yourself as you play. We're practicing 15 to 20 minutes every single day, and I'll see you at your next lesson.